Someone asked me about manifestation. So the question is, could you please explain what's the key to successful manifestation, either material or experiential? Once you're told that it cannot come from desperation or lack. So the question is, what is the art of manifestation? It's actually quite a popular question because at the moment everyone wants or talks about manifestation. Everyone is a little magician who is trying to manifest. Think about 7-8 billion people trying to manifest what they want at the same time. It sounds like a disaster to the world. The level of our desires defines our spiritual evolutionary level, because the desire itself is neutral, but it somehow shapes the way of our individual existence, or the way we see ourselves. It comes actually from the way we see ourselves, we perceive ourselves. For instance, most of our primitive desires are based on the fact that we are not confident within ourselves. So all these spiritual new age teachings, coaching, how to manifest, how to make your miracles come true, actually flourish and dwell on people's victimized perspective of self. So they're not actually going to the root of the problem. They are gliding along the surface. They're trying to show you that you can do something just because you intend to do so. But the science of manifestation is much more complicated. It's not just about thinking about it or visualizing it or wishing it so strongly, because everyone has their own cycle of existence. And whatever is happening within that cycle is the conscious path. So the individual consciousness within a small cycle and a collective consciousness are having their own also cycle within the overall existence. So within this conscious cycle, we're going through different kind of experiences. And these experiences are defined by our inner distortions. It is not the minute desires, but the inner distortions, the certain inclination. These inclination and distortions are not about what I want to buy or I don't want to buy. It's about how you perceive the reality. It's actually your perception. For instance, you feel like you never have enough, or you have a certain idea of self, like you need to prove people, you need to get a certain degree to prove people something, you need to be recognized. These are inclinations, these are distortions that are going to drive your life, because they are based on the past, the past of your existence. And in this particular life, you're going to face your past. The life will not become any new life for you as long as you carry this past within yourself. So the goal of spirituality at this day and age is to refine the past, to refine the perception of the past, to free self from the past, and to actually perceive the reality as it is, which means the present moment, which is blissful, equanimous, and yet empty, kinda, because at that moment the bliss reveals itself, because there is emptiness otherwise. Emptiness means that the space of self is not bubbling with all kinds of desires or inclinations. At the moment, Instead of raising awareness of how to refine inner perception, we talk all over about how to become a magician, how to become something. True spiritual path is the path of unbecoming, the path of letting go. So the art of manifestation is the art of letting go. And it's not about letting go of some little desires, like how many people say. You just create a strong vision and then you let it go. You cannot let it go. It's a part of your distortion. You cannot, even if you cannot let go of a plant, you can chop the plant down, the root will remain and sprout out again. So there is no deep spiritual understanding of anything in this day and age. Everything is just gliding along the surface. And this is not a criticism, this is just an observation. Because what's the point of criticizing? Nothing is going to change. This is the result of the collective. So, in order to enjoy the manifestation, one needs to learn how to flow. This flow is not possible as long as you are bubbling with emotions, bubbling with creative energy. Even if you think that this creative energy is a part of your awakening, this is not an awakened state. The awakened state is when you clearly see distortions and you're refining them, and you understand that that creative potential is dragging you outwards. So you learn to master that flow within yourself, and then you realize what is what within the flow. And whatever is needed, it is manifested. Whatever is not needed is not manifested. Sometimes you look for very quick solutions, and the result of that is more entanglement. As when I spoke in my videos about occult influence and black magic, people resort to very quick solutions. They want solution here and now. That's why they support false pseudo spirituality, which through marketing means offers them quick solutions. There is no quick solution. Everyone has their individual cycle of evolution. Everyone goes along that cycle. You cannot cheat consciousness. Consciousness itself knows what's right for it. When you don't have something or you lack something, it's because you have not realized a certain aspect within yourself. So you need to dive within and realize the root cause. And the root cause is usually the victimization. The victimized, or you have certain false perspective on the reality. But you cannot change it in one day, even if you realize that it's false. It is a certain conscious response. That's why the power of enlightened consciousness, or the consciousness of someone who is aware of themselves more than the other, lays in ability to shift that perspective. But even if you shift that perspective, the person has to work on themselves. They have to notice the shift and recognize old patterns and old waves that may still arise from time to time. So it's really the work with own awareness, where you don't rely on anyone else outside of self. Even if you receive some sort of a spiritual grace, or you receive some sort of a knowledge in the form of transmission, it doesn't mean that there's nothing else to do, or someone else is going to resolve all your problems. No one is able to resolve anything for you. No one is able to help you as long as you don't want to help yourself. No one is going to do anything for you. If you use occult means, you will be tangled, and the price you pay will be much more. It's the price of ignorance, more entanglement, and after all, a certain form of suffering, because there is deep entanglement between the matter, the illusion, and yourself. True path of spirituality is the path of liberation. Liberation comes from within, it's not outwards. It's liberation from inner constraints that bind us through our emotions, through our thoughts, to this world, to this reality. And once you feel free, you are within the flow of manifestation. Yet the flow is not controlling you. You are the master of the flow. And since you are the master of the flow, you are able to enjoy everything. But when you are not dwelling on a fragmented perception of yourself and the reality, your desires refine, your perception refines, you are able to go into absorption, to your natural being, and see what's necessary and what's not. And when something's really necessary, you get all the means from that flow to manifest it. And yet, when the desires are refined, they are not of a material nature. And they are all within the scope of your awareness and the reach, within the scope of reach for your awareness. If you see that something is not happening within your life, let's say you want to get a raise or you want to have more money, communicate your will. So the biggest tool, or the most important tool, is communication in this reality. Knowledge and communication. If you are able to freely express yourself and communicate your will in a constructive way, you are able to have things and get them. Most of our problems lay in our suppression of self-expression, inability to express self in an unconditional, undistorted way. Due to these impediments, the flow is kind of distorted, and so other people communicate and perceive, first of all, perceive it in a distorted way as well, and also communicate back to us in a distorted way. So if you are a free flow, there's no distortion then. You get what you need to get. With the power of your free expression, unconditional flow, you are able to have access to anything. But this is a very different perspective. In order to get to this perspective, you have to really shift. So these words may not find the right audience, but those who experience this phenomenon, the moment you become free within yourself, at least to a certain degree, within a certain aspect, whether in personal life or in a material life or in any kind of aspect of life, you are able to just convey freely, without hesitation, without self-doubt, without fear, your will, your perspective, your ideas. You'll find the audience. You'll find the way to manifest what you need and what you want. So the key to manifestation is truly clear vision and inspiration. But how do you manifest that? Even if you have it, you have to have that power of clarity and communication, self-expression, because it's not that the idea or the vision is outside of you. You are the idea. You are the vision. If once you were able to materialize companies, success, whatever, relationships, once you were able to do this, you will be able to do it many times. If you haven't had that experience, work on self-expression, work on clarity and simplicity. The more simple you are in perception of life, the more clear you are able to express this simplicity, convey this simplicity, convey in a simple way your vision, your ideas, and find the way for more manifestation. If you look at everything, what is success? What is money? What is relationship? It's all communication. You are the relationship. You are the company, the organization. You are the vision and the idea. How you separate that as a baby separated from the mother is by opening your mouth and delivering it. But you're not delivering it just through the words. You are delivering a part of yourself. That part is called transmission of yourself, because you believe in that idea, you believe in that vision, you know what you're doing, you have skills, you express them. Whatever you express, whether in art, music, painting, in a relationship, your feelings, that is all transmissions, different levels, different forms of transmission. Everyone transmits, but the question remains what they transmit. Some transmit their emotions, some transmit their hopes, some transmit their anger and jealousy. Anger, jealousy, comparison become black magic, occult influence, negative energy, right? It's a flow. It's a flow where one has obscure vision because they don't realize that the other person is successful not because they have any good luck or good life or it's their destiny and something good happened to them. It's because they have opened that within themselves. They are able to transmit unobstructedly that knowledge, that skill, that vision. So manifesting it and pursuing their vision. Whenever you have vision, the money, that energy which is needed follows you, because everything depends on the vision. So when people compare themselves and create some nonsense in their head that, oh, this person is successful because someone helps them or they got some money. No, it's not because of that. Even if it's that, these people will not be successful in the long run, because success is you. You have to realize that that is your manifestation of self. Success is the manifestation of your being, nobody else. And even if by chance you got some means and opportunity to grow in life, materially, to develop something and become successful, if that is not you, you will not maintain it. You will not be able to continue maintaining yourself on that successful level. If you are able to keep on your awareness and vision clear and continuously manifest yourself unobstructedly, constructively, communicate properly with people, communicate your will, your understanding, you are able to arrange a lot of things. But that's only the power of manifestation. That is nothing special. All of us are able to do that. We all transmit. Many times people say they're transmitting something spiritually, but the truth is they transmit their limited vision of spirituality. They transmit their spiritual emotions rather than actual ultimate being. But this is a different question. So observe how people transmit themselves, how people express themselves. That is the self-expression. That is their creative expression. Through that creative expression, they're able to create ripples and changes in their lives. When there is blockage, when there is some kind of inability to express self due to victimized states, due to lack of confidence based on victimization, people feel obstruction in self-expression, obstruction in conveying their ideas or talking to certain authority or people. And that's why they find a lot of obstacles, because their transmission is not direct, it's impeded. So their flow is impeded and they perceive life as full of obstacles because they're not able to communicate and express themselves freely. So if you want to succeed in life, you have to become that success within yourself first. You are the success. What it means you are the free being, free expression, or at least you free yourself to a certain degree where you for sure exactly know what you want. So clarity, vision, and proper expression, as well as a degree of selflessness. When you are consumed by the vision, you lose yourself in that. And that point is the point where you actually let go, because you're not doing it for anything. You are driven by a vision. Like when you're a creator, you create music. Not at that moment, you don't think that someone is going to recognize you or not. You just do it for the sake of doing. So that is the degree of selflessness. The more selfless you are, the more successful you are, because sooner or later, whatever you create will find its audience or its success if you are doing it really unconditionally. The moment you start thinking, oh, whatever I do, nobody recognizes, nobody wants, you create an impediment in the flow. All the successful people create, invent, and remain unconditional. If they are conditional, if they do it for a certain purpose, sooner or later, they'll be gone off the stage. Because success is a being. It's not something that you get today and you don't get tomorrow. If you're truly successful, you'll be successful for a long time. The more selfless you are, the more you're able to understand how to let go, how to jump over or go over certain obstacles, and how to simplify the way of expression more. Sometimes people are successful, but it's only for a short period of time. In our human lifetime, lifespan is very short at the moment. So we think, oh, the person was successful for 20 years, that's a big deal. But you don't know what is going to happen further. What this family is going to experience. If this person used occult means, how they're going to pay back, how they're going to be tangled in this reality, their generations, their grandchildren, so on. So all of these things have to be taken in account when you use some occult, dishonest means to climb the ladder of success. Just because you are victimized, you feel like you're nothing. And that's why it drives you crazy not to be successful and pushes you up to at least get a piece of it. True successful people have always been selfless and were driven by vision, aspiration, without a thought who they are, what others would think of them. They performed what they had to do, what they had to perform, what they had to create, they created. And this is the way and the path of selflessness, simplicity, true spirituality, true success, and true vision. If one is able to understand that and shift their perspective, they may shift the entire life, their own life, and maybe the lives of those who are around them by ripple effect. Self-help books, all this kind of manuals are not working because they are standardized. Our life, each individual's flow is not standard. Every individual is going through their own cycles, remember that. And because of that, the journey is individual. The path, the experience is individual, yet it's a little drop that is contributed to the collective. And we are also to adjust to the collective. But yet, adjusting to the collective doesn't mean in a negative way that the collective influences you negatively. You contribute something that creates a positive effect. The positive effect cannot be created on the bones of people who are engrossed in victimization. So the first step on the spiritual path or any kind of path to success is to realize the program of victimization, to become first of all aware of it, then to realize how it plays you out, and to start refining, to regain power. The victimized perspective means you are against the world. Someone else is happier, more successful. Something is more powerful outside of you. The spirituality of this and that is more powerful than you. This is victimization. And because everyone is victimized, we look for solutions outside of us. We don't want to look within. We don't want to really refine ourselves. We hope someone else is going to do that. Some teaching, some path. The path, the true teaching will always turn you within in order for you to find your own path. The path is selflessness and unconditional being. Once you find it, there is no search. But there is a way to realize the reality, the manifestation, and the ways to live organically in this world, constructively, in a non-violent way. So if you realize your selflessness, you are able to create positivity effortlessly. If you haven't realized that, you will only create that or recreate that outwards or manifest that outwards, which is in yourself. So if you're a victim, you will create and recreate that victimization and reflect it back and perceive it again, like the world is very bad. I'm the one that suffers. There's no way out. As long as these thoughts are there, there's no solution. There has to be a shift of perspective out of the victimized state, out of the victimized perspective. And that is called awakening. When you awake to your natural being, when the mind turns within and perceives its own natural essence, which is blissful, unconditional, then you realize, wow, all these years I've been deluding myself, making decisions out of that corrupt, cancerous perception. And now I know the perception is still there, but the awareness, the awakened being, the ability to perceive the unconditional being is there like an anchor, like a cord that will pull you gradually out of that victimization. I will enlighten your path. I will give you all the means to realize your dreams, your distortions, positive and negative, and through that refine the self and contribute to the refinement of the collective.